Hello everyone! Welcome back to my Let's Play series. I'm not starting out how I have been for the rest of the series because I've got something exciting and kind of derpy on my part. I did not realize this, but Ars Magica apparently released about 2 weeks ago on the 25th of last month in October. So, yeah. I could have had it for the series all along. And right here is first piece of World Gen. So it's called Awake Bloom, and it's used in Ars Magica, typically for the spell recipes, I believe. But unfortunately, while Ars Magica does have Retro World Gen, I have attempted to use it on my save here. And unfortunately, it didn't work. So, I mean, I'm out here quite a ways from home, about 1,000 blocks from home, even 400 blocks or so farther than I've gone with the quarry. So I'm way far out here just so I could find some World Gen. So we're going to be moving the quarry out here. I think I'm actually going to stop it where I have it and just go ahead and move it out here and do a full-on system for transferring power and generating power at the quarry location, because we definitely want Ars Magica, because Ars Magica, as I've mentioned before, is by far my favorite mod. So, oh, hello. Anyone new to the Ars Magica mod, these are druids, or dryads, or whatever you want to call them. You can lead them around with saplings. So let me actually see if I can get a sapling real quick. No, that's not one. It's a piece of grass. I definitely don't want a piece of grass. Or sunflower. There we go, oak sapling. Okay, so these guys follow it around, kind of pretty much exactly like you would expect a cow or chicken or sheep or whatever to react to their respective food of choice. Now, the only reason you would want to drag the dryads home is that if you get them near crops, they actually grow their crops, so they'll actually increase the growth rate of the crops. So they're actually something extremely handy to have around. But unfortunately, we're actually, we're not way too far away to get these guys home. In point of fact, we are actually just far enough because we have portal gun. And come here, you. Come here. Yoink. And yoink. Hi guys. How you doing? Okay. Now, I have been doing a little work around the base. In fact, actually a lot of work around the base. I've let my stuff run. I basically AFK'd for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that, and came back to find like 5 stacks of plutonium. In fact, it looks like we've already got another stack of it here. So our whole system here is just doing fantastic. So I made a whole bunch of these, and I think what the plan is now is that this whole floor is just going to end up being radioisotope generators. And all of these are full. And it seems that I'm going to have a decent bit to clean up after this, but this is still keeping up pretty good. This is keeping up good. There's absolutely no issues, and it seems to be fueling itself. Like, I'm not even having to really do anything. It looks like we're still doing good on the steam boiler. And let's see how we're doing for 17. Actually, we could make the chess piece. We can make the quantum chess piece if we wanted to. But I think we'll save that for a little bit later. One downside to upgrading to quantum would be that it would no longer act as a battery pack. That is something that the advanced nano chess piece does that the quantum doesn't. And quantum actually has a jetpack in it now. That is one of the newer additions. Something to keep in mind. It's actually, whenever you go into hover mode with it, it's actually a slower hover than this. So you actually stay at the same Y level longer. So it's actually very, very handy. Now, this could be an issue to start Ars Magica. I'm going to go ahead and look around, see if I can find what we need to start Ars Magica. And if I can find it, hopefully I'll be able to find it, I will be back and I will show you guys how to get started. Oh, actually, before I forget, I was able to do the UU matter thing because I actually figured something out thanks to a little research on the Industrial Craft forums. So you can actually make the pattern storage. You cannot actually craft the hardened stone, but what you do is you have these iron scaffolds, and you get your CF sprayer and you actually spray the scaffold, and that makes hardened or some kind of special foam that when it hardens it actually makes the hardened stone. So let's actually might as well do this, that way we get a little better idea of when it's done. And I'll toss these away. Don't need the wrench, don't need the tree tap. Something important that you might want to know is the fact that you actually need an item frame and a book to start Ars Magica now. We'll come back and I'll show you that a little bit when we get back. But yeah, you need a book and an item frame to start it, and you also need a special piece of world gen. And oop, that was a little bit laggy there. Sorry about that. I did not want the basement. I wanted pure. Good. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, actually, I think I see it right here. That little blue dot. Yep. This is what we need right here. So all you have to do with this is, darn it. There. Okay. So now, somewhere near it, you need to put down your item frame and put your book in the item frame. Then watch the magic happen. Literally. So that pulls it together, and eventually this will turn into essentially what amounts to the Thaumonomicon for Ars Magica. So it's the Arcane Compendium. And I need to get 4 buckets real quick, because that stuff is going to be very, very important later. There we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you can see, it's called Liquid Essence, and it is a forge liquid, so we can pick it up, store it in tanks, do whatever we need to do with it. And in fact, I think I'm going to make a tank right now. Oh, I actually have some tanks, so cool. Not quite sure our magic room is big enough to support all of the Ars Magica stuff that we need, because Ars Magica now has a couple multi-block structures which are essential. So what I might end up doing is I might extend our magic room out here a little bit, possibly. That's still under consideration, but until then we'll just go ahead and actually, you know, this would be a good use of our tower. We have this tower, and we haven't done anything with it yet. So I think up here would be a real good use of our stuff. And there we go. For a second there, it looked like it was going to crash me. Okay, so now we got our liquid essence stored. Now what we need to do is we need to get an inscription table. So let me explain a little bit about the Arcane Compendium now. First and foremost, it is basically a wiki in the game. So it's got all sorts of different information. It's got different guides, introduction to Ars Magica, introduction to spellcrafting, making your first spell, gaining magic levels, getting skill points, finding dungeons, the essence system, and all sorts of great information. Now, it's also got things on the structures, so essence, nexus. Oh well, that didn't turn out too well. I actually had crashed there, unfortunately, so let me go back here. So let's start with the crafting altar. Now, you can make the crafting altar out of a whole bunch of different materials, and this is actually where you make your spells. Or it's actually where the physical process happens. And the different materials add different abilities, or, well, I'm not sure I would call it abilities to it, but different properties is probably best. So as you can see, wood, stone have one effect, sandstone has one effect, bricks have two, witchwood has three, nether bricks and nether quartz have three. So these three are the best base material to use. Now, the caps are these little corners, so the lapis blocks that you see here, the gold blocks, what have you. So those you can use grass for 1, coal for 2, redstone for 3, iron 4, and etc. as you can see here. And it actually goes up quite a bit until you hit sunstone, which is 10. Now, the effects I'll have to get into whenever we start the spellcrafting system, which will be pretty quick, let me tell you. So it looks like the maximum number of effects you can currently have on a spell is 13. So that's not bad. But as you can see, he actually allows you to do this display here, and you can actually set the different layers, so you can see layer by layer how to build the structure. So it's actually pretty neat, and it even saves your place where you are. So you can exit, go at your stuff, come back to it, and boom, you're still back where you were, so you don't never lose your place. It even has things for mobs, like let's go for Light Mage, gives you a little information on it. You can see the model of the creature or whatnot, and get a little lore. So pretty cool little thing here, but unfortunately you only know what you know, so you can't get shapes or components, so you can't get information on things that you don't already know how to do. So let me go ahead and get together what we need to start some Ars Magica stuff, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, actually I think I'll let you see what I'm doing here. So right here, this is how you make the inscription table. Just some planks, some wood, or slabs, planks, spell parchment, torch, and a feather. The spell parchment is just 2 sticks and a piece of paper. So we'll go ahead and get that. And let's go ahead and place this up here. I think still along this wall would probably do good. And you place it like a bed. So pretty simple. But this isn't the only thing we need to get started. So we don't know any spells or spell components yet, so that's fairly useless. But let's go ahead and make ourselves an oculus. So let's look here and see what we need. For this, we're going to need blue topaz. Ooh, that is one of the new materials, so it looks like I'm going to have to do a little mining before we can do this. So if you will excuse me, I'm going to go ahead and go take care of that. So I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, I found some of the new ore. This here is Ventium. which if you've played Ars Magica 1 you would recognize. It hasn't really changed much, but this is a new one. This is actually what we need. Blue topaz. Oh yeah. So, seeing as this is a very, very tiny cave apparently, I may just portal back home. Yeah, this looks pretty darn tiny. We do have some abyssal stone going on, which is always nice. I do like abyssal stone. We're essentially under the ocean, which is about the only place abyssal stone will spawn for you. And these are always nice. As you can see, there's the way up there. Doo-ba-doo. Something you probably also caught is the fact that I have upgraded most of my armor. I did this between last episode and now. Did that pretty much after I had let my stuff run because I ended up with quite a bit of UU matter, believe it or not. I had set up some cobble generators for use with... oh, darn it. Ooh, more stuff. This is good. That's Chimerite. That's another one of the Ars Magica ores. So I'm actually kind of glad I stuck around. I get to show you more stuff. And excuse me while I grab different ores here. But everything's important. Cool. Alright, this should get us a pretty good start here. Now, there is some ore generation in the Nether that you might want to be aware of, and that's actually something known as sunstone, and it actually spawns in the lava pools. So we might actually go check that out in a few minutes. So let me open the portal here. There we go. And dump all this in here. Cool. So now let's get us an Oculus. Brick. Cool. So, what the Oculus does is essentially Ars Magica has changed to the point where you now have skill trees, and these skill trees determine what kind of spells you can create. Now, in the config options, there's actually a specific config file for controlling the skill trees. And essentially, you can tell it if you're in one skill tree, you can't go into the others until a certain point or something like that. And, oh, he added a talent system. That's nice. I like that. We'll have to look into that after a bit, but let's go ahead and go. You'll notice we have 3 blues. So basically, the color you get here is, it's hard to tell, but you can actually kind of see it. And when you highlight it, it will show you a coloration to the projectile or to the spell part name. So the correct point has to go into the correct thing. So for this, I would need a green skill point. For this, I'd need a red skill point. And for the most part, the ones up the top are blue, and then the middle is green, and the end is red. That's what it is for the most part. I'm not aware if it will change at any point, who knows, but let's go ahead and get physical damage and magic damage. So now we got 3 little spells here. So if we look here, you now see we have or projectile, physical, and magic damage. But what we need to do is we now need to make a crafting nexus. So let's go to structure, crafting altar, and you know, we probably could go ahead and do both nether brick and maybe even emerald blocks. We would need 5 blocks of emerald. And I've been gathering a lot of emerald since our quarry's been in a mountainous biome. Oh, yeah, we got like... That's pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll have that. You've got a decent bit of nether brick, and I can cook up this. So let me toss these in here. As you can see, I've kind of automated this a little bit to toss out any random dusts that we've got in the AE network and cook them, because they were starting to pile up and it was becoming a nuisance. But as you can see, we're definitely not hurting for material. So 128, there we go. Don't know why I filled out a whole grid of that. That should be good there. Now, if I remember correctly, we need crafting altar. What's that entail? Ventium dust and stone. Ventium block. Oh, come on. Well, I think we just have to smelt the Ventium. So let me get that and smelt that real quick. Yeah, that's all it is. So crafting altar. There we go. Now that we have that, we also need the magic wall, which are this here. That's not bad either. In fact, it's pretty cheap, to be honest. Alright, so let's go ahead and build the structure. So what we need as the base. Okay. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 5. Yeah, looks like we need a 5 by 5 base. So go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That looks good. Three, 4, 5. Cool. And actually, it looks like the advanced chainsaw works better than the standard chainsaw that you used to have, or that I used to have. I hadn't actually tried it on this substance yet, so that's good to know. Alright, now the center of this 5 by 5 is going to have to be one of those emerald blocks that we just made. So let's knock him out. Put, nope, not a magic wall, block of emerald. There we go. Now the next tier is going to be stone block, magic, oh, we need a lectern. Okay, that, well guys, at least we're learning what not to look up in the Arcane Compendium. Looking up the lectern actually caused some pretty decent issues. So luckily I was able to see the recipe before it crashed. Essentially what was happening is it was flashing through every possible combination of wood that you could use for the lectern, but it was doing it in like just a couple fractions of a second each, so it was just ouch. Not something you would really want to take a look at. So okay, so we got nether brick, then wall there. Okay, that should be easy enough. Let's put that there, that, and that. So 1, 2, 3 with a lectern here. Then we'll do 1, 2, 3. Then the next tier up, magic wall, and that, and we'll need a lever as well. Oh, wow, that's surprising. I don't actually have a lever on me. Normally I have all sorts of random stuff in my inventory. Okay. Well, that's where they all ended up. Should have known. Should have known. Okay. Nope. Not a torch. Lever. Okay. Now we go for the next one. And that requires some stairs. So let's go ahead and make some stairs. And that. So luckily we can just use our handy dandy little crafting grid here. Like so. And make a couple set of stairs. I think the roof's actually just big enough too, which is amazing. Like that. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the next level here. Which that's not bad at all. So that looks like it's the top. So we need 3 solid right there. Okay. So it looks like here, then putting that, then that, with stairs here, 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 here. We'll need one more set of stairs, I guess. We'll find out. Alrighty. Me and vanilla stairs don't get along. Even though I know how to use them. There we go. And now the last but not least, emerald blocks. Alright. And that, my friends, is the multi-block structure for creating spells. So now, the next thing we need to do to make a spell is we need to get a book and quill. So we just happen to have resources for that. Go figure. Which I'm going to have to wire my Ars Magica setup here so we can get stuff up here. But, okay. Now you put the book and quill in here, and we'll put a projectile spell, and we'll do magic damage. So, removing the book will finalize the recipe. Let's go ahead and name it, Magic Bolt, whatever. Something like that works. Now, that gives you a little book. It tells you what you named it, who made it, and all that. And you can actually read it. It'll tell you what's in it, what it does. Then the pages will tell you what you need. So, Ventium Dust, Arrow, Lapis, Purple Rune, Book, Snowball, Stone Sword. Affinity Breakdown, 100% Arcane and 100% Ender, which that's not too bad. So I will get into the affinities in a bit, so let's go ahead and get ourselves some sticks. Let's close that out, dump those, dump the nether stuff back in there. Okay. And like so. So we got a stone sword. Now we need a book, a snowball, Ventium Dust, arrow. Oh wow, I don't have any snow? Really? That could be an issue. Let me see if I can find some snow. And I will be back in just a few minutes. Alrighty guys, just recharging my stuff here. Went and farmed up a good amount of snow, because I figured, well, we might need it. You never know. Didn't have to go too far for it. But, okay, so where were we? We definitely need one of those snowballs that I just tossed back in there. So we need a snowball, we need an arrow, which we happen to have some of, and what else do we need? Ventium dust, a book, and some lapis. So, we only need one. We happen to have books. We have lots of lapis. And now I need to show you how to make runes. So you make runes the same way that you did in Ars Magica, or the original Ars Magica, which is just this pattern here, makes 2 per, not very expensive. So we're going to need a bunch of those, but for this we're also going to need red, which means I have to go find a rose. Wow, can you tell I was just excited to get this thing going? There we go. Rose red. Perfect. Whee! Okay. So we got red, now we'll get lapis. Purple rune is done by combining 1 rune with 1 die. And there we go. Now we have a purple rune. Okay, now the fun part. Up, sim, up. There we go. Okay, to get started with the crafting, you place the book on here. And then you toss in a blank rune. You notice it disappeared. We'll see if I actually turn on particle effects. And we kind of see some, but it's asking for Ventium dust, so we'll toss that in there. That's asking for an arrow. Toss that. The snowball. The purple rune. The lapis. The book. The sword. Now it should be asking for a spell scroll, a blank spell parchment. So we toss that in there, and it finishes the spell. So now we can right-click. So every time you right-click on the first time you make the spell, you can name it. It will default to the name that you gave it earlier. And then you can select a icon, which I think that looks like a decent icon. So now we can go all sorts of nuts and cut loose with magic. For those not familiar with Ars Magica, you'll notice in the lower right a blue bar with a kind of crescent moon. That is our mana bar, and the crescent moon indicates that we're in diminished casting mode. I can hit the C button by default to put it up to normal casting mode. Now the higher casting mode requires a lot more mana, and actually you can see that. It requires 80 mana versus 20 mana. So quite a big difference. So you hold right click to charge it, and you let go. Oh boy. That was quite the level. That might be a bug. Not sure. It's definitely not something I did. But I won't complain. Seems to be slowing down actually now, so that's not too bad. Now you'll notice in the lower left I've got a red bar that's slowly climbing. You notice that was 20 mana before, now it's 26. That is a very special bar that essentially the more you use a spell, the higher its mana cost and the lower the XP gain. So if you wait for it to go down, the mana cost will go back to normal, and so will the XP gain. So as you can see, we just gained a bunch of XP. Now, the higher tier spell that you cast, and obviously the more complex spell also increases the mana cost, as well as, I believe, I cannot remember what that bar is called for some reason. And how dare you sneak up behind me? Don't you know never sneak up on a mage, you jerk? Take that. Take that. Yeah. Bad zombie. Take normal cast. Oh. Oh my. This isn't going too well. They're stacking up and I don't do near enough damage. Hopefully, I'll be able to take out one or two here. Hi, zombie. Stay back. Back up. Go away. No. Of course, they had to be angry zombies. It's always angry zombies. They are the bane of my existence. Mostly. Not the creeper. Not the creeper. Oh wow, if I had one more shot, I could actually level up, but it seems that I'm not going to get that chance. For a little bit, anyway. Oh my. That is something important. That was a meteor. And that is something that happens at random. I don't know if an event triggers it, or if it starts right after you gain magic, or what. But they just happen at night, and you get Moonstone, which is kind of cool. You can actually use that in place of like those emeralds that I was using before. Not sure why you'd I'd want to switch them, but you never know. There we go, full mana. Now, the reason I was out here shooting stuff is not because I need the experience. It's so I can show you another feature. If you actually level up, I think it's every 2 levels or so, you gain a skill point. So now we can actually come back through here and get more skills. So let's see, what do we want? Well, we have magic damage, but we can't get green yet because we don't have any green skill points. But we did happen to find an infinity orb. Now, if you notice, it's green, and it's from Ars Magica. If you right-click with it, you gain a skill point. Yes. And there's blue, green, and red infinity orbs. And you can get those from dungeon chests or bosses. That's right, bosses. Ars Magica adds many different bosses to the game, and we will be trying some of them. Probably within the next couple episodes. But now we have a green skill point. So we could do knockback, or we can try some of these others here, or we could even go into this. So we could do mana regen. I'm thinking mana regen might be a good idea. So affinity gains boost, mana regen 2, mana plus. I'm not sure what those actually are. So let's see if the Arcane Compendium has something to say on it. So talents. So affinity boost, augmented casting, mage posse. Your talents as a mage have impressed others, and your reputation precedes you. You can request that a light mage follow and guard you. This counts against your summon cap. That's actually pretty cool. So, if you're not familiar, light mages and dark mages are two types of NPCs that spawn when you have Ars Magica installed. Unfortunately, I don't think they work in Biomes of Plenty biomes. That sucks. I know. And in fact, in the next series, I probably won't use Biomes of Pony Biomes for that very specific reason. But light mages will fight dark mages, and light mages will actually heal you, whereas dark mages will attack you. And it's entirely possible to just come across light mages and dark mages having an all-out magical war in your front lawn. So it's something really cool that Mythian added to the game, and it's a very neat mechanic. I believe he's eventually wanting to have different quest lines and things along with that, and yeah, he's talked about adding a questing system to Ars Magica, which I think would just be amazing. It would do some amazing things for the game. So, tuned with the energy flowing through your magic generates faster than normal, replenish. Okay. Mana regen. Do we have a mana regen buff? I don't know if we have a mana regen buff. Oh well, let's go ahead and... Why not? Mana regen 2. We could get that. So, I'm thinking that's probably actually a spell. Is it? No. That's weird. Okay. Whatever. It works. It works. And we could do the affinity boost, but we don't really need that. Okay. So, I don't know about you, but I like lightning damage. I really like lightning damage. So we're going to go fire, lightning, and what else should we do? I think we can go into utility here, so let's go ahead and do self, regeneration. There we go. That gives us a nice bit of stuff to go ahead and use here. So that is the basics of the talent trees, the skill trees, and your spell creation. I'm thinking... Oh, wow. Looks like the witches got into a fight down there. That's kind of funny. Well, anyway, I'm thinking that we're going to go ahead and have to call the episode here. We're probably well past the wrapping up point, but I really, really was excited about Ars Magica, and I wanted to show you some of the spellcrafting system. So between this episode and next, I'm probably only going to be leveling my mage skill, probably set up at least the base line, rail line over to the new quarry area. And I'm thinking we'll probably just go ahead and do it in that newly generated area that I had over there. So, oh, yes, I didn't show you this. I had so much that I actually input RTG generators down over here. They don't seem to be keeping up really, but I mean, it's better than nothing. It's pretty close. Just a couple more of these and we can probably keep these going indefinitely and just powered on their own. But yep, I am going to have to call it here, guys. I'm sorry to say. So I will see you guys next time, and hopefully we'll have some bosses to fight. So stay tuned. It should be interesting. Take it easy.